well, here we go. Hello again. Welcome everyone to, I guess this is our everyday ordinary mystics coffee chat catch up check-in.
I love it.
It's a very long title, but we don't know what else to call it. So it's just three ordinary people on the spiritual journey coming in from different perspective, different, modes in life, and just talking about our spiritual journey and the last 2 weeks. What has been going on? Let me just first say, yes, my eyes are very tired. I don't know about you, but I haven't slept well in a couple of weeks. And I'm just wondering if anyone else out there in YouTube land has had trouble sleeping. So I'm a little foggy, not to mention I've had eye surgery and I'm even blurrier. So I'm going to constantly be doing this because I can't see. So if I look a little, anyway, so that's the start. I have not been able to sleep very well the past 2 weeks, particularly last night. And Kristin, I think you're right. Some big energy has come in, or bigger, or continuation of, in the last week or so. But last night was huge. I didn't even check. You know what? I didn't check the CME report. Sorry. I know this is supposed to be a three-way.
No, we're doing good. You're going first.
I'm on a roll right now. I'm a little drunk from no sleep. So pardon me. Anyway, so maybe there was like a solar thing.
There may have been, Kat, but I have stopped looking because it's like we're being pummeled every day now. And it's just a matter of what the flavor is and if it matches, I feel like, as to whether we go down with it.
That's true.
If I remember correctly, though, the last call that we did, Kristin, you had said something, you felt like something big was going to move that weekend. Did that come through for you? I'm trying to remember, like.
It did, in a way. Like, I think it's still unfolding. For me, I have felt like this calmness and this centeredness in my being. It's like, it's hard to explain because I'm still in it, but it's like there's not so much input and I am more directly connected to my own world and what I'm creating. And there's less doubt and confusion because I'm not even open to the other realities, I guess, or the other energies. I can't remember where I left off last time we talked, but I had got this realization through my own intuition and my own inner, knowing and meditation, that the way that I was helping people heal, while powerful and very helpful, was detrimental to me, because it's so important for us now who can, like, if you can't, there's no judgment, no shame. You go through what you're going through. Yesterday, I will tell you what happened to me. I had a headache all day long. It got worse and worse. I puked twice from it. I couldn't function and it felt awful. And so I don't make myself wrong for that. I just flow through it. And now I feel wonderful. But when you can stay in that high vibration, that high frequency, that your own lane, your own world, your own thoughts, it's so important that we do so. And so as I'm in this high lane and then I'm connecting to energies that maybe aren't there, and I'm helping people clear that stuff through my connection with them, I'm dragging myself down, which is okay for me and has been okay for years as I do this work, because I'm able to bounce back. I'm able to keep my own energy center. But something about now, after this shift, it's like not okay.
Yes.
It's like they're on their own now. And it's not that I can't help them, but I'm learning how to help them by directing directly through prayer and not through prayer and my energy, if that makes sense.
Sorry to interrupt. I just have to say, I absolutely got the exact same message. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but it's all about you right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Which feels very uncomfortable, right? Even though I've worked through selfishness and all that, it's like, but I want to help. I need these people to come.
Well, this is where I kind of want to throw, because, like, I've been really digging into the I Ching. It's not up to, like, it's inviting the helpers to help, like, we're using our own, like, we think we're something special. We're not, like, you just need to kind of petition to the cosmos to assist in whatever's unfolding. And you know, some people need to go through a journey. I mean, I recognize that now. You know, I recognize that certain people had to kind of walk away from me because that no was the instigator for me to actually take my hands back into, like, take my power back. But if they had kept, you know, trying to, you know, soothe my ego, which was the thing that was out of control, I never would have taken the steps. And when we're constantly trying to save people, like we're freaking, like, we do have this like sense, I know that feeling, that sense
We
of
all go through that. Yeah.
It's
You
part of
can't
the
fix
spiritual
people.
journey and the spiritual ego. It's a form of deflection.
It
Like,
is.
we get all our little systems and we start getting our astrology reports and our numerology, and then we think we know it all, and we learn about law of attraction, and all of a sudden we got to save our friends, all in a way of really not wanting to be with our true self and our true stuff. And that's
attachments, right?
Yeah. And that's where we're at right now. It's like the Gene Key 40 on steroids. You got to be in your own aloneness and take care of yourself, because karmic ties and bonds are in the process of dissolving at the moment, in collectively. Yeah. So it's going to work itself out.
And it feels like, you know, without like reactivating that you know, I don't think it's necessary to reactivate the conversation around the Queen, but with her passing, it's that sense of obligation that she carried so deeply. With her passing, it's like I'm like, oh my God, I'm not obliged anymore. Like, I feel free. Like, I actually can see.
I can't believe you just said that, because sorry, Eve, I'm such an interrupter, but
no, it's fine, go.
No, because I'm just confirming what you're saying. I did a little like oracle session or I Ching about the meaning and what would happen. Oh, did you see it? And it's
no.
I
know what you're going to say. I feel like,
it's totally confirmation. And I asked, what was the result of the Queen's passing? And the result was hexagram 53, which obviously is expansion, but it's development of the true self. That the monarchy and all of this stuff is no longer relevant. And it's all about what you just said. Developing inner truth. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm just excited.
We love it. We love being cut off. The ego is sleeping.
We discussed this last time. We're all interrupters, and so we don't actually get annoyed when we interrupt each other, because we're like, oh, it's part of the flow. And like, some other people might be like, what the hell are you guys doing? Why do you interrupt each other? Hopefully you love us anyway. I'm sure if you're watching.
We are not people to do the talking stick. I cannot.
No,
I'm not doing the talking stick here.
Well, I get excited because it's like something's arising within someone and they want to share it. And I'm like, share it, like, you know, because you might be able to articulate it, you know, in a different way, so that someone else needs to hear it. This, you know, like, it's powerful to allow someone to let what's coming up within them bubble and share it, you know. And as long as there's respect, which I think it's
absolutely.
I mean, I understand interrupting can be seen as rude, but I think there is.
It never feels like that here.
Not with you.
No. Especially when I just like I'm so excited to confirm you. I'm like, wait, I want to confirm you.
Exactly.
And I love how you're. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's not the word, it's you know, you can feel the vibration when someone's interrupting you because they're not interested in what you have to say, versus they want to actually add weight and confirmation to what you're saying. There's a difference, you know?
Yeah. Very astute. Yeah. So Kristin, we've interrupted you. So so I think maybe that weekend wasn't the big transformation, but it was building up.
Well, for me, so I'm actually like trying to figure this out on my own, and I know it's spiritually based, and you had given me a little bit about it, and I've gotten all these little bits, but I get these regular headaches, but they're not regular, like there's no pattern. They're not frequent enough for me to worry I've got a brain tumor. And every time I have one, it's like a huge upgrade on the other side. Like I feel it. And so I'm like, this time I'm like, God, please, why does it have to be like this? Like I'm surrendering. Like, why?
I know, but headaches are very, very common when Kundalini reaches up into the brain centers.
And if that's what's happening, it's okay. And like I said, I just have grace and surrender for myself. And I can sort of see, maybe where I wasn't listening to the message. So this is actually funny. For me, I agree with everything you were adding in, Eve, as well, about like moving through that fixer identity. Everybody on this path at one point has to face the fact that you cannot fix someone who doesn't want to be fixed, that you cannot provide a step that they're not ready to take, that you might tell your friend this like mind-blowing information a million times, and then they go hear it from that person and they listen. And it's like, yeah, get out of your spiritual ego, let them follow their own freaking path. And I feel that I've been there, for quite some time, in terms of like, I still help where I'm called to or where I'm vibrationally attracted to. And so this up level last time for me was like almost like cut off from like even being able to tap into people to kind of prove to me that that part is done. And then I did actually over the past couple of weeks have a ping to check in on a couple of people to clear something deep, but it was like one thing. It wasn't like it usually is. And so it's like people still might need assistance, but we need to not be doing it from that savior space, right? Not from that, like, I'm going to catapult you into your next level, and worry about your own level. And so that's just been really clear. And then, I, was a little depleted the day before yesterday. It was a rough energy day. And I didn't, like I said, I stopped checking. I said this before because it's like, it's always a pummeling energy day now. Every single day something's happening. And so it's like, yeah. You follow those accounts that are like major incoming storm. It's like, yeah, tell me something I don't know.
Exactly.
So whether we're reacting or not is based on our own personal makeup and what we've got to overcome at that time, or what is a match. And so anyway, I was really tired, didn't really think much of it, but I was like, why am I so tired today? And then later on in my class group, people were talking about how they were exhausted, and everyone they talked to was exhausted. I was like, oh, it's got to be, obviously, it's always collective. Why don't I think of that? So that day I had a live healing clearing planned for my course that I do. And I was like, oh, it's not ideal that I'm really tired today, but it is what it is. It's planned. I'll let it go. I also had a friend who really wants my help, has needed my help, set an appointment for the same day at 3 p.m. and it was the only time she could do it. And my inner self was like, oh, I should say no. And what's funny is I have the 43 times in really prominent places, right? I know how to say my no and hold it. But like one of my childhood besties, like we've been through everything together, she can't make it any other time. And I'm like, that's okay, I'll do it. Now I'm exhausted and I have to do this call. And I told her, you better not cancel on me. And so now I can't cancel on her. So I'm like, shit. So I have this call with her and it was fine. I was tired, but I did a good job. I didn't do any energy work. And I told her, like, sometimes I do that with clients. I'm not going to do that with you. You can attend the class thing later because she's in the class, and we'll call that good. But I think for me and my energy, how we talk about like picking up other people's energy? I've gotten to a place where I don't normally pick someone else's energy up. Like I'm so solid in mine that I'm clear of that. But I was weakened because I was tired. And also there was a match, I think, from my like childhood with her. Like we were talking about sexual traumas. The healing later was for the sacral chakra. Like there was something in me that needed noticing. And so she sort of activated it. And because I was tired, I didn't notice. So I rested before my call, which was at 9 p.m. And I was kicking myself. Why did I make it for 9 p.m.? It's so late. But I had originally intended that it would be a really powerful healing. And when you set a container like that, and so it is, and that everyone would want to go right to bed after, that was why I did it so late. So here I am, like, facilitating the clearing, but also getting cleared. And I didn't realize at the time. So that was the night before last. And I was so exhausted afterwards. And I had gone against myself, like I said, and then I went down with a headache yesterday all day long. And so again, like I can say like, oh, I did it wrong and I should have said no, but no, everything happens exactly synchronistically for a reason. I had to cross that boundary so that I could have those interactions with the people that pulled out what needed to come out of me. If that was not living deep in me, none of that would have needed to happen. Do you see what I'm saying? And I could have just kept skating over it.
Well, the question for me that comes to mind listening to you talk is to go back a few steps before the day you actually agreed it. How deeply did you check in and anticipate, like when you committed, how, where was, so when you first said the yes, was the yes a real yes for you?
No, that's what I'm saying. And I knew it wasn't, but I also knew she was like, I can only do it Wednesday. And I was like, Wednesday? Like I've got that thing Wednesday. I'm not going to want to do it on Wednesday. I was like, whatever, it's okay.
And this
so
is
I bypassed it because I put her importance above my own energy and what it wasn't. I know my sacral.
You made a decision from an emotional place, which is kind of going against your authority, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
But then
guilt, and maybe a little guilt.
Exactly. And then I'm clearing guilt and shame in the thing, right?
And then your whole body's like compromised, because the thing is you have a defined ego as well. So you not committing is just like, I can't do that. So you had to follow it through, and then you paid the price.
Right, exactly. But again, like I want to reiterate that I feel like it was all for a purpose, because there was something deeper that I don't even have clarity yet exactly what it was. But yesterday in my like praying to God about like, why is this happening again? Like what? I, got this message that my nurturing was coming further online. And I have had these pains in my neck that I know are related to my nurturing mother wound that I've cleared layers and layers upon, but they came back yesterday. So the tension kind of started with this blockage in my neck. So when that message came through, I knew it was the truth. And I know that it was connected to my sacral, because the headache ended up with puking, and I could feel the energy like clearing, and after the puking happened I was all better and went to bed. And so it was a deep clearing for me that was facilitated by all of the crap that led up to it that I could make wrong, but was actually all part of my now being like, I see what I did there, and
but you know what, Kristin, there's something deeper. There's something still you haven't seen. That's what
I'm not surprised. That's why I said I don't have the clarity.
Yeah, there is. So there's this inability, let's just say, maybe not inability to say no in particular certain situations. And you see that, but there's got to be a why underneath. There's got to be something based, a fear, an image that you've taken on. But what would have happened had you said no?
Nothing.
I know, but
I know that
inside there has to be a phrase that's underneath all of that says, if I say no, this will happen. So that's at the bottom of the well, right there. I think there's something.
I feel that too.
So sorry, I didn't mean to go there.
I don't feel like anything would have happened. So I'm not connected to what that could have been. I know that.
I know you will have to ask your body and ask your body to show you the origin or the core belief or the phrase, the seed phrase that begets that behavior. And that behavior is so common.
Oh my gosh, it's in every area of my life.
In particular, people who are on the spiritual journey, who have taken on these roles of helping others. So that was a perfect example of how subtle the ego comes in. And you think the ego will tell you, this is your purpose, your mission. We have to do this. It's kind of like you sacrifice. This is a selfless energy. And yet your being behind that is going, no, I don't really want to do that. And if you have the phrase, I don't have the energy for that, or right there. You do not have the energy for it because it's not meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm glad you shared this, because it's drawing people's acute attention to those moments. Those moments are so critical.
Mm-hmm.
Well, especially in the moment, it's like I fooled myself, because
Exactly.
then I felt in, and I was like, oh, and I was like, yeah, but I mean, really, it's like 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. Why would I be drained by that call? Probably it's meant to be because she's in the class, and if I have the talk with her before,
I
so
know.
it
Don't
does
you
sort
love
of
the
outwardly
rationalization?
That talk for me, having you know, I think the angle Kat's got, because I'm diving into the I Ching, like following Kat's lead, and like that's the ego justifying. We made the right choice. You were supposed to have that headache. It's all good.
story,
Exactly.
right? All
Fantastic.
story.
You're purging. Wow, we nailed it. You know, that's the ego saying, yeah, don't listen to your inner voice. Always, you know, that self-image that I'm the good girl. I turn up for my friend no matter what, you know, like that's in self-image that the ego is trying to protect. And I'm onto it, because
I know once you're onto it, man.
I'm like, no. And I probably will fall down, and you know, but I'm done with exhausting my own life force. I'm done, because I want to live my life. I want to enjoy my life force for as long as I get, you know, and if I'm constantly depleting it for someone that doesn't, I mean, you know, how many people have you helped and it was a waste of your energy to draw that up for that person? They're not even interested. They're not truly going to take that wisdom and make the changes that it, because I tell you, you know, to step on this path, you're talking about changing every part of your life. Like, to really live this, you got to say this and no and block, and but not a lot of people are ready, because it's not hard work, but it just means a lot of transformation in
A lot more
so
people
many areas.
I think
people are
this,
ready now.
I think this is the time that people are ready. And I just want to commend Eve. And I don't know if we spoke about this on the other call, but Eve, you have said no to almost every element of the ego. This image, this spiritual image of, I have to be of service. I have to find my unique gifts and my purpose and do something out into the world. And that is not in alignment with your inner truth at the moment. And I commend you. You have said no to all of it. And and I think this is for everybody. You are drawing into yourself and just taking care. Your purpose is within your environment.
Exactly.
You know?
Sometimes it really is.
Yeah. And I'm not speaking for everyone. I'm speaking for Eve at this moment. She has recognized that. And it is difficult to say no. You know, you got a website, you got a great look. I mean, like the best logo I've ever seen. I mean, and we were going to do so. And all of a sudden you just went, no. And you're drawing inwards, and you're working on yourself. And I think that that's what this transformational time since the death of the Queen is all about. I don't know.
Detaching from all the exterior obligation. I agree. And, you know, I would say, and tell me if you guys don't agree, but I firmly believe and share with most of my clients and people I know, our purpose here, like we think it's something we need to find. Our purpose here is to fulfill our inner desires, to lead ourselves down the path of what makes us happy and makes us feel fulfilled, because from there, anything you do is icing on the cake. So, you know, a lot of times I am serving because I love to serve, but where is that line of where, like, I need to serve myself more this week, or, you know, and that's my lesson. For sure.
And this is not to say that everybody there, Kristin, there are personality types that are meant to be out into the world and doing that. But I think there's a lot less of you than people think.
And even though there's always balance, so even those ones need to find the balance, and that's
not
what
taking
we're all
on,
finding.
they take on like everything. Like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do Reiki. I'm going to do past life. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get a website, when really their lane is much smaller and much more subtle and unique. And by the way, your purpose, you're already doing it. You've already been doing it your entire life,
Living.
right underneath.
Living.
I know, but your purpose is your natural gifts, and you're already doing them. It's something that you always talk about. It's right here under your nose. You can't even see it. Just like your children, you know, it's like right there. Do you have to go, Eve? Okay.
No, I was just looking up, like, I because I'm into this whole, like, there's a great book out written by a girl who has kind of explored human design and gene keys, and she's got this fantastic cross. And I was just looking up like Kristin's, because it's so on point. Actually, I just want to share it with you, because you know, your purpose, like the reason why you cross people's lives is when they need to get themselves to move more freely and with the aid of the community. So you definitely have a very community kind of spirit, and it's beautiful too, because when I think I looked this up last week, 2 weeks ago, and I was like, wow, you're so living your purpose. You're just doing it. And like a question here that it offers is, where do you want to be? So it's always just, you know, I feel like, I don't know how that resonates with you as a question, like, where do you want to be? You know,
where
and
I want to be is by the ocean. It's been calling me so bad, but like I have a family here in Maine.
Well, wait a little bit longer and Ian will bring the ocean to you.
Yeah, well, and I'm by the ocean, like at the event, we're going to the ocean, but it's Maine ocean. I want tropical ocean where I can swim and be on the beach. That's where I want to be. But yeah, I know. It's funny because when I first read about my cross, I was like, what in the heck does this mean? And I'm a heretic. No, like I don't want, but I knew deep down,
you're so good at it.
I knew it was me. And I was like, no, I can't be that person. So I've worked through all this smallness to like be okay saying things that people don't resonate with, that like need to change the world. But it's so funny when you say that now, I can see that I am like automatically living it, but I'm not, you know, I didn't resonate with it when I read it, didn't understand what it even meant, didn't know how I would be that person that does that, working deep within the community and changing. And now from this place, I look back and I'm like, I've been doing it all along.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's my point. If people would just look at their lives, what do they always talk about? What are they always studying? What are they doing when they're so bored? Or, you know, just what do they do naturally? I mean, anyway.
Yeah, the conversations that light me up are the ones that are like triggering, that I'm like, I can't say that online. You know what I mean? But like in small groups or one-on-one, I'm like,
yeah.
I'm getting there.
Oh my goodness. So Eve doing her laundry. I love it. You know,
I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it real. I'm a mother of 4, and this is my life. You know,
I should be doing that, Eve. I should take, because I have like 4 loads of laundry to fold. I'm going to do it after. You know, I should be doing
taking care of your most immediate environment 101. Once all that's taken care of, fine, go out and help your friends and freaking Timbuktu. But take care of your, you know, because this is our energy, right? And when things are out of alignment, we've got to put things, you know, you can't take care of anyone unless, you know, until you're feeling, I don't know about you, but like when everything's a mess, it's like, I can't even concentrate, you know, like.
To be honest, that's something that's been like a bone of contention between my husband and I our entire lives. I've always leaned more towards messy. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just don't really see the mess. I don't really care, you know? And he is like OCD. Like, if there's a half a load of laundry, we need to do it. And I'm like, if you would just let it fill, I would help you. But you come in like you're wasting water, you know, like stop.
Yeah, you got to find that happy balance. But I you know, like what I love to do is look at people in my life that I aspire, you know, people that just make me feel good when I'm in their presence. And my sister-in-law, there's just something magical about, she's a 5'1", she's freaking magical. And you know what she's good at is making house. So I needed to cherry pick that part of her, because I saw this is a 5'1" efficiency. This is her gig. You know, she knows, and she might be a little, we laugh about it. She's slightly OCD with it, but I can take, and I have noticed as an experiment to go, what happens when I take some of her wisdom and apply it. And I tell you, I feel better. And I think energetically, I think I get more from I feel more in cosmic harmony by overseeing my outer environment and cleaning the direct, you know, like when you,
like feng shui is a real thing. The energy, it really is. And I understand on a mental level that it makes a really big difference, and it, like, you know, synchronizes your own vibration to be in harmony and all of this. But I have been so resistant, and it's like any of the issues I've overcome or whatever through my life, it's like you're not ready to look at it until you're ready to look at it, and it feels so hard, and there's like a fog over it, right? And so
what that is.
Well, so this is what what's that?
Teenager. No, I won't tell you my room, mummy.
It is like the rebel, and I have her so deep, and I love that part of myself. But what happens is, as I heal the deeper wounding, like my masculine energy has been healing, and this, I'm noticing that I am inspired, you know. So where my husband felt like I never helped, now he comes home, he's like, oh my God, you swapped the laundry and folded it. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, but and he keeps like words of affirmation, like, oh my God, thank you, thank you. I'm like, I just want you to know this isn't happening because all of a sudden I'm like, I guess I'll help him out now. And like before I didn't want to. Before I was not only not inspired to do it, but it was like dreadful. And now all of a sudden I just feel like doing it, and I don't even think of it. You know, it's like my mind just notices. And so I'm ready for this lesson, and I'm so glad that we're talking about it, because I have been up leveling my home keeping. And I feel like this thing I went through this weekend with the nurturing has put me in that position. Like I've been ready for this next step. And I think looking at that as nurturing my environment, nurturing myself, nurturing my family gives a really good perspective shift.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. I totally agree. And I'm totally on board with that. I always feel better when my house, you know, is a little bit cleaner. However, we have to look at the other side of the coin, which is when we have a bit of a mess, like God doesn't care.
No.
What
balance?
What is the program going through your mind when you're looking at the mess? What are the shoulds? What are the programs? I'm not good enough. What, blah, blah, blah. So there is a balance there.
Because that's when it turns ugly. Fair enough.
So for people like myself, I mean, my God, if you have kids and lots of animals, there's only so much, and you're going through a Kundalini process. My God, I could barely keep this house. If you saw the kitchen, oh my God, you know, I do my best. But I am getting better, but there's just too much going on.
And that's okay. Yeah. It's like,
and God doesn't care that you haven't, you know, made the bed and there's some dust.
A part of the reason I've kept like rebelling against even cleaning is because ultimately I want a house cleaner. Ultimately, like I am going to manifest that shit in my life one way or another. I did last year, and it was a blissful time. It was like, I can't tell you the appreciation of walking into a house that smells clean and like, so that's what I want. And I'm like,
I know, totally. I feel
you're supposed to get in the vibes of what you want. And when I'm cleaning the house, I'm not in those vibes. So I've had to kind of just undo that. And I agree, Kat, that it's not all or nothing. And Corey, my husband, has come a long way in relaxing, because it used to be like he would come home and like get immediately irritated because the shoes were out of place. And I'm like, so he's come a long way too.
And I've used cleaning, like I cannot start a project if I haven't cleaned the entire house, baseboards. I mean,
using it as an excuse.
Every, you know, let me clean. I can't do a video until I've, you know, because
the thing is, it's a ritual, you know, like I remember when we were in Peru, you know, and when we were having the ayahuasca sessions, you know, before a ceremony, you know, the team was in, you know, the local people, the Shabiba, you know, like the maestras team, they were tidying, they were hoovering, they were creating a sacred space that would, you know, be clean and fresh. And because there's, you know, energy collects, you know, we know that, you know, so
objects have energy.
You know what, I don't know, I agree with you, but I also, the deeper thing to that cleaning, which it's a little bit of a distraction, but it's also it's a
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
you know, you can feel it. It's a harnessing of your focus.
Yeah.
It's allowing you to turn inwards and kind of contemplate this next step that you're doing. It's a way of inner settling.
It's a quick, yeah, exactly. It's a physical act that can tune you into a particular vibration that can bring you into a state of inner calm. Like, I mean, ideally you can be at that inner calm at the flick of a, you know, but you know, it takes work to be that.
And it's an action that you can be mindless, that allows something, an aha and awareness to come in. So it is a therapeutic thing. I get it. Yeah.
And I think,
and it's so simple, you know, you don't have to spend thousands of freaking dollars to go on a retreat. You could just clean your house, and you know, for me, 5 people might benefit, you know, from.
But if you really fucking hate cleaning your house, you might want to go on the retreat first.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
But I think it always comes down to belief, right, Kat? Because I've come so far allowing the clutter to be, because it didn't bother me. It wasn't part. But now if I'm ready, if I'm like here, I'm ready to up level. That could assist me in that up level. You know, it's like when we come into this work, I heard someone say this, you guys, you come in and it's like there's wine stains all over the carpet and you're like scrubbing the wine stains, like clearing out your traumas and shit. And it's like, oh, you get them up and you're like, oh, it looks so good. And then you start noticing there's cobwebs all around the windows. Right?
Yeah, but like for me, it's everything is a mirror. You know, what's going on inwardly is what's going on. And, you know, you can
a little bit.
Well, I just feel like to take care of the physical body, you know, I'm not talking about grandizing it. I'm not turning it into some, you know, over grand, you know, attempt to inflate the body, but you know, it needs care. You know, our teeth need to be brushed. You know, we kind of want to wash because it's, you know, it's healthy. You know, we're living longer because we're just generally more hygienic. You know, we're not like. And I kind of feel intuitively that it's the mundane of human existence. Every day is a cleaning day, whether that's our bodies, you know, and there's so much resistance because there's a childishness within us that wants someone else to tidy our shit up after us. You know,
fun. It's not fun, Eve.
Yeah, but Mary Poppins said,
I'm just trying to make it fun.
Sugar helps with medicine. You know, if you sing, you know, like the birds, they don't complain. I got to go and find loads of twigs and build my little nest. They do it with joy, and they're playful.
That's the trick. That's the trick.
It is. It's bringing, you know, can you sing? Can you put the music on? You know, how can you turn the mundane into
a meditative practice?
Exactly. And that's what I have been cultivating. And how do I surrender to my karmic role as it is today as a mother of 4? You know, when I discovered this path, I was like, right, I want to run. I want to shave my hair and sit in a monastery. Like that seemed like a dream to me when I had 4 children under the age of 5. I was just like, oh my God, what have I done? But I've had to somehow fall in love with this karmic role, and because it's not forever. I mean, really, you know, another 10 years and then I'm off. My new journey begins and this cycle will end. But how can I make the most of it? Because otherwise every day will be, you know, like I was suicidal, you know, for the first 5 years. It was a night. I hated it. I hated being a mother. I hated it. It promised me all the joys, but I couldn't find any.
I have that, Eve. I have that. I have said in the deepest, darkest moments, I did not ask for this. I hate this. And I don't mean
horrible. They're ungrateful. They don't give a crap. They, you know, they don't say that, whatever.
And then it's like, we created that though.
I know, but the point is, but it's something that has to be taught. But the point is, I have to learn to fall in love with this human life as it is today. And make it the best, you know, I can.
That is exactly the message. Remember, Eve, when we were in our Delta, when I got that message and I said, you have to become one with your own separateness, which is every aspect of being in the body, feeling totally separate, going through all, you have to become one with that in order to become one with everything else.
And that's where our power is to create our reality right now, which is bringing it back to the beginning, right? That going within and projecting your reality and staying in your own lane.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So, that's my job at the moment, is to fall in love with the simplicity of my human existence, which is at this point a mother who folds washing
It is what it
and
is.
mops floors and scrubs toilets and and never gets a moment's peace. But that's, it's
Beautiful.
it is actually.
So many people would die for that life.
Well, so many people go to great lengths and spend a lot of money to have the experience of being a mother. But you know what? Are you sure? Are you sure you want it? Are you sure? Because it will push you to the edge of your sanity.
I know. I wonder how people I don't know. It is a trip for sure. Like seeing little versions of the worst parts of yourself.
I know. In Dolby sound, you're like, no, I don't want to.
You can't not face it now because there it is.
Yeah, because I couldn't go inward. I had to produce it out of me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this whole topic around mother, and it was funny actually. I mean, I think I mentioned it last week, but I've been really contemplating about this whole concept about what it means to be, how we use this word mother, because to be a mother versus just to bear children, because we're all mothers. Women are innately mother, we're mothering in our nature, but to bear children, how much, how many people persevere to have children, even if for whatever reason the cosmos isn't bringing that through to you, and we go and override it with other, with medical intervention. And my question to these women is like, are you, why are you going against the nature? I know that's awful to say, but
I know what you're saying. I've contemplated it too.
Yeah.
And it's a very touchy subject because we don't want to deny someone their dreams. And
I tell you, is it a dream? Is it a fact? Is it a real dream? Because
or is it I feel like a deficit.
And these kids need the amount of love this one being needs, nothing can prepare you for how much you got to give to this one being to keep it alive, and to send out integrate humans that are actually ready for a path of to journey this human existence. We're all broken, because our parents couldn't find it, do you know, we're not broken, you know what I mean? I
know what you mean.
We won't need all these courses one day, because these I don't know how to explain it, but just
I think I get what you're saying. It's like if they can't have why, what's under that, instead of ignoring why, and almost there's so much societal pressure, at least for me, when I get to those moments where I'm like, I never wanted this, it's because I was trained that was all there is.
That's
you grow up, you get married, you have babies, and not that I regret it in any way. It was perfect, and it was meant for me, clearly, because it was not planned the first time, and so it is what it is. But it's if what's under that, and why do we feel like we're so deficit if we can't, when there's a whole other path and a whole other world? And I tend to think that in the future there will be some sort of, I don't know, but some sort of mutual agreement maybe, or humanity will get to the point where they don't just have babies unless it's planned and decided and committed,
because we're now learning more and more about what a child needs. When parents separate, the first 7 years, I mean, if the gene, there's just all this information arising now, how much that really messes with nervous systems. The intricacy to raise kids is, it's a lot more complicated than meets the eye. And
I think a lot of people do it it's almost because it's from their wounding, they want something that will love them. And I was going for a daughter because I was trying to heal something within me, I wanted it, and then you're not aware of it. You would never admit that.
I kind of was,
Were you? Okay.
Well, I knew that I was it's going to help me, because it's going to help me. It's going to help me, but then I had her, and then I was like, whoa, she's no different to my boys, and I was just like, oh my God, it just blew out. I just realized how I was trying to seek outside of myself to heal something within me that,
And perpetuates the wound, so it's a walking wound.
So. Exactly. And it became that, these poor kids, until I realized, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to send out some really, really wounded children if I don't get my shit together.
Let's just say now, because I know you feel the same, that whoever's listening to this, every child that's on this earth is meant to be here. And anybody who has followed IVF and got their baby, it was meant to happen. Like God's not going to send you a soul if it wasn't aligned. So through the IVF process, I think a lot of times they heal some of that. A lot of them, it's like when they give up, then they get pregnant. It's trusting that it's always working out. But the more that you're pushing, the more that you're making your path more difficult. And surrendering to what's there for you is what I feel.
I mean, maybe I'm just so brutal. It's like, if I'm coming back again, I don't want to do it again. I've loved the journey, but
you've had enough mothering for everyone.
I don't need to be a mother again. I'm
a lot of children.
I'm done. I love it. Don't because that's what I want to say. Like, I'm just saying it takes all of you. It's taken all of me, and I am happy to do it, and I've honored it. But once they're 21, I'm like, bye.
It gets better, Eve. It gets better. They're like friends now. Like, I've created this harmony in my life that I dreamt of it. Like, I see it now and I'm like, this is exactly what I always wanted. And it's from facing the wounds and facing the healing and taking responsibility and having that open communication. But my oldest now are almost 19, the twins, and then my youngest is 13, and all of them, like, they want to hang out. We're supportive of each other. Like, we're in this season right now that's like everything I always dreamed of. And it's easy, because they're not little. So there's so much reward in it. And like, I would never trade it for anything.
Oh, look,
you want to go in, I know you know this, but like, you want to go in eyes wide open and be okay if you have these feelings of like, I fucking hate this.
Yeah, that's kind of what I want to feel. Like, mother guilt, mother shame, that, like, it's
yeah. And it's duality. We need to hold the duality to find balance in everything in life. The way we do one thing is the way we do all things, and we can hate them at the same time.
Exactly. But what I can say is that the sacrifices, I think just to complement what you said, is that when you do make those sacrifices as a mother, and you're with your family and you're with your kids, the investment, if you go that extra mile, in those early years, it does pay off, because they become that community. I mean, they are filling a hole, actually. Like, they really are. Not in the way I thought, but you've got to invest. You've got to be there with them, because because it is that we are now reaping the rewards of all those blood, sweat and tears that went into it. But I'm just saying that it's not what I thought.
Yeah,
they're not, they don't just sit on a shelf when you don't want to play with them anymore.
Little baby dolls.
Which is, yeah. Anyway, I have to go. Thank you, ladies. As always, it was wonderful. And
you and chat, Eve.
I gotta go and get my babies, my beautiful kids.
Beautiful.
I love them.
Bye.
They helped me to grow up.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.
So yeah, this conversation, we thought we might not have anything to say. It just takes a life of its own.
I know. When children talk come out, I go, okay,
I'm out. You needed a break. Clearly, you needed a break.
Well, I mean, I can kind of say that I'm a mother with.
Of course, you have
anyway,
and you're very responsible to.
Yes. So, where do we go from here? I want to get back to. So what do you think your up-leveling was about this week? I kind of want to bring it back to the point of these conversations, or
today, like, so from 2 weeks ago, when it was like, because it's almost like we have it timed, so like, I don't even know what's happening, it just happened, and it's got to play out, you know what I mean? So like I said, it playing out last week was really just like showing me how to be separate, right? Be more further in my separateness, because I'm pretty comfortable with that, but we're always getting new depths. And so it's like very much like going against that inner pull to help someone else, even when it's my childhood friend who I know really needs me, you know what I mean? And I know like divine timing has brought us together here, but the divinity of that timing was for me to say no, and so that was where I wobbled. Again, it's okay. I do feel today, a lot. Like every time something like that happens to me, I feel more solid, more whole somehow. It's a hard thing to explain, but I feel very solid today, very whole. And getting that message yesterday about the nurturing, it just really resonated, like I said, because I've been working on that. I've been aware of that kind of like noticing in my life where my inspired actions are more nurturing, where like my child is like, will you make me something for lunch? And instead of me having that initial, like, you're perfectly capable, like I'm busy, you know what I mean? Or like doing it just because but not really wanting to do it. Like I've noticed in the past couple of weeks, me just wanting to do it, you know, it's like I have very limited time left to nurture them. And it feels really good to feel aligned with that nurturing energy. And so whatever's happened this past weekend, and you know, today's the first day that I'm feeling solid. So who knows how it will play out, but I have a feeling it's in that realm. And her bringing up the housekeeping and stuff like that's so interesting because, you know, I have the event planned, right? And I did not plan that event thinking, I was like, I think I told you, like the tar is messed up in my driveway. And I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna be judging my tar. And it's like, who cares if they're judging it? That's their lesson. Like, whatever, it's fine. I can't get the freaking driveway tarred. So it is what it is. So anyway, you sort of prepare when you're gonna have company over. And there wasn't much to do. I hadn't really pre-thought of it. But all of a sudden, my husband, who's very much inspired by my energy, is like, ooh, well, let's do this and let's do this and all these house projects. I'm like, really? Like, you think you can do all that before? I'm like, you don't have to. He's like, no, I've wanted to do it. And I'm like, well, me too. It's a perfect time. So it sort of was that, you know, divine synchronistic timing catalyst. And we've painted the dining room. And I'm like, oh my God, it looks so much better. I'm so glad to get rid of that yellow. We painted the trim because it's been 12 years in this house since we painted the trim because the kids are just abusive, like hoverboards, digging out. We have beautiful molding in this house and like basketball hoop had it all chipped off. So it looks so beautiful. And I've been feeling the feeling of the upgrade of it, like of, you know, when you have the clutter or the mess, that didn't bother me either. Do you know what I mean? I didn't focus on that. It's like when you put notes on your refrigerator and then you don't see them because there's a million notes and magnets. You know what I mean? It doesn't bother me. And so I have a little bit of your point of view with that. It's like you can certainly function. If you saw my desk right now, it's a cluttered mess, but I'm comfortable in my clutter on my desk. That's how I like it.
It doesn't detract from my self-esteem or
yes, exactly. And so I get there's that balance, but like also, you know, there are things that I do wish were better. Like I said, I wanted this house cleaner because I want that result. I just don't want to be the one doing it. And I have noticed in the past couple of weeks being inspired to just like wipe down a cupboard when I see something, and then I'll get going and wipe down all the cupboard. Do you know what I mean? And it's like just one thing with no pressure to be like, I got to clean the whole
that's how I learned to, I use the phrase while I'm here.
Yeah. If it's
while
like
I'm here,
just do
while
it.
I'm staring at this, is there something that I can do?
Right.
While I'm here, without having the agenda, let's clean house. While I'm in the kitchen, I might as well just do this and then walk away. And then
so it's like there is this like aligning in the getting aligned in the energy, and then it's easy, and then it isn't a push, but it's like we make ourselves wrong for not, you know what I mean? And so that's where, you know, we never get to that inspired action because we're always pushing. And so I think that was a big lesson that was part of that, is really just always connecting to that inspired action. Like even with my friend, you know, like I was not inspired to be like, yeah, Wednesday works. I was inspired to be like, can you do another day? But she's so wishy-washy on days and she never has time and she reschedules that I was like, I'll just do it. And I knew, I didn't know how it would populate, but I knew in that moment, like, I hope I don't regret this. And instead my ego was like, oh, it's meant to be. It'll be fine. So I think this week, like I feel after this conversation today, especially because this is like me right out of my healing cocoon, first thing in the morning, I do feel like it's going to populate in more of the same, more of that nurturing, more of that, you know, community within my family and that feeling of alignment to that part of myself and nurturing myself. You know, I think I don't want to forget that it's really starts with that always. And so the more that I nurture myself and take care of my own needs first, everything else is just a bonus.
And and all of that is a response to whatever, I mean, it could just be personal for us, but the last 2 weeks, and it feels like it's going to continue personally, that this is this energy, I'm exactly where you are, totally centered, the clarity in my being, feeling whole, even though there's some outward stuff going on, some stuff that has popped up. There's this clarity and calmness and silence that is just in my environment, and it feels like it is, there's a collective within a collective within a collective, and in this, whatever collective we're in, we'll just say the spiritual waking up collective, I feel like that's going to continue. That this, I don't know, I don't feel, when I felt into October, I didn't feel any
Yeah,
I haven't done a full check-in, but just hold on. But I feel like this undercurrent of us feeling really centered and going inward and following inspired actions, and then, saying our no's, whatever, is influencing the outer collective, which is propagating these events. And when I checked in last night, I thought, oh, because I'm so tired, I don't even know what to talk about tomorrow. Just give me a word, because I love getting words, about kind of what this time period, what is going on, this beautiful energy. And I find it interesting that we're so centered during all of these retrograde planets. But the word that I got, which shocked me, was Nostradamus. And I went, oh, I get it. And I'm getting chills all over my body, because I think we're entering a period, Nostradamus, the prophet person, that we're entering into prophetic times really deeply right now. Not that his particular things, but it was like a feeling of
prophecy.
The prophecies, the prophetic events are kicking in, and like, yeah, and I feel that, but the, let's just say, spiritual community is really, we have to go in order to hold steady.
Yes. Yeah.
Hold
That's
steady.
exactly it.
And
it's like we're anchoring in that higher level of consciousness, because only we can. And the people that we're helping are coming up to that level of consciousness.
And this is, and to repeat, like what we said last week, we're still in a huge choice point.
Yeah.
Everyone's choosing. And I know people are going through tremendous, particularly in the US and the East Coast, huge events, but this is all choice point time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Can you trust that you're going to be okay, even in the midst of chaos?
Yeah.
And that's what it is like, it's like, so this disconnection from all the noise, and like, it's like, I feel separate, but I feel closer to oneness at the same time. And so what that is realizing that, when we're dealing with guides or angels or exterior, information, and any way of the 3D world or the 4D, that we're not in our power of choosing, of deciding how it is for us. And so when we're double checking or asking, or, trying to find our own center, we're not there. And so when we cut out all of that noise and only act from within, and when the doubt comes in, catch it and be like, no, this is what I decide, that's where our power of creation is. And so as that plays out, each of us that can, holding that frame, other people are going to be able to be affected by that vibration, like you said, and kind of play that out in a better way. And those who are choosing to.
Yeah. And those who a lot of people are leaving, more people are leaving.
Yeah.
Planet.
Yes, exactly. And that too. Yep. Either because they're just, their work is done here, or because they chose not to be a part of this, this prophecy or whatever before they came. And so I think that's another big thing that's going to be coming up, and that us holding our own knowing and frame and reality and being able to project that out to help other people with things like death, like really redefining what death is and redefining how society reacts to it and how we resist it and fear it, because that is really creating a lot of problems, I think, energetically. But also, what I was going to say was this anchoring in of it. Oh my gosh, it left me. It must not have been meant to be. I got off topic.
I interrupted you.
It will come back if it was meant to be. I don't remember now. I was going somewhere with that, but
well, I'll start talking and then it'll come to you. And okay, so I have to do a little, not bragging, but in my last energy report, I said there would be I only saw two things. This is just me going, I think I got something right. I saw two things happening. I saw a light. Remember, we were talking about a light that the world would see. And I think that light, because there's a picture. Have you seen that light on the Queen's?
You told me about it. No, I didn't.
Can I show you? Oh, I got to show you.
Show me, yeah.
So, and this is exactly what I saw. And I also saw that there would be lots of like power. There would be grid failures and power outages.
Which is happening everywhere.
Everywhere. And you don't need to see the picture anyway. It's
you can show it if you want to.
No, it's okay. It's just a gorgeous.
I have like a vision of it in my mind.
Okay, I'll share it. Let me see if I can find it quickly.
While you find it, I'll tell you what the
look,
you got
can
it.
you
Okay.
see that? That's exactly what I saw.
Yep, the light
beam of light.
Yeah.
Anyway, why was I bringing this up? I was trying to talk so that you could just.
Well, I did think of it. So
okay, good. That's all I meant to do.
The last bit that I was saying was that in this anchoring of like us being able to anchor, like outside noise doesn't matter. It's what I think and what I choose and who I am, as the I of all that is. That in that space, what we're seeing already is the people that are ready for this are stepping out. Like more and more online, I'm seeing people claim their truth. I'm seeing people step out and talk about their spirituality or their growth or their missions or whatever in like record numbers. And so what we're going to have to really be holding for them is this knowledge that it like put blinders on to everyone else's reality. Stay in your own lane, because as these people come out in all layers and walks of life, it's going to be very uncomfortable to see the multi-dimensional realities that are happening at the same time and to be aware of it and also stay out of it.
Right, because in the process of developing of our true self, there's lots of layers of egoic explorations and visions of what they think their inner truth is, which is never anyway. So it is going to get, I mean, it has been, it's already there, people speaking their truth, but it's going to, I think it's going to get
exponentially growing. And as it does, though, it's like it's from this new place of consciousness collectively where people aren't just like stuck in the old story. They're like, well, what is she talking about? And what's he talking about? And what's going on over there? And so it's that duality again, and that balance of like, stay in your own lane, use discernment with everything you hear and don't negate their reality. What's happening for them is very real and very valid and allowed.
And this is actually the great separation that's going to bring us to unity.
Yes.
Because unity consciousness happens within the individual.
Yes.
So as we, do you know what I'm saying?
I do. It takes trust
of the moment.
To trust your separateness, to trust your connection, and that what you're choosing is aligned with the I. And when everyone does that.
Okay, now you said the I twice, and now I'm gonna let me just
I am is what I'm kind of
well I just to share my own personal up leveling or shift or deepening. I will share about that in a second. But in the beginning of, let's just say, whenever this huge spiritual movement started, some say around 1997, the great convergence. Anyway, this was all about everyone coming together, groups, and in order to have collective consciousness, let's all blah, blah, blah. But actually, what's happening now is everyone, it's kind of like not let go of your community, but stop aligning yourself with group ideals.
Yes. Group
And
energy.
I say this sweetly and softly, even to big, beautiful groups like the Gene Keys, because that group is huge, and it comes with a huge idealistic way of being. And it's time even to say no to that. And everyone's going to step into their own inner world, and it's going to feel like conflict. But that's the only way we get to.
That's where we find the discernment. And this is so beautiful, because this is what's happened in my own relationship with my husband. And, as we know, it's like the microcosms of the macrocosm. And what we've been collectively moving through this past year is moving from codependency to sovereignty. And so when we talk about any relationship, whether it's me and my husband, me and you within a group, whatever, you can't engage in a relationship without those codependent enmeshment energies unless you're already separate and whole and know who you are. Because what we need is interdependent relationships where it's like, I'm me and I'm good and I know what I stand for, and I'm me and I'm good and I know what I stand for. And then you come together and it's 1 and 1 makes 3. It's the unity consciousness, right? And it's like, you can't have that unity. You can't have that 1 and 1 makes 3 when you come in and you're like,
well, you can't have that unity until you find the unity within yourself.
Exactly.
And it has to come from your own separateness.
It gets messy if not.
It gets really messy. Anyway,
I love that you said that.
What else? Just personally speaking about, I hope we always go too long.
That's okay.
Anyway,
if you have something to add, then add it.
So my own personal up-leveling, just speaking. So last week I did have a tremendous shift in consciousness that feels so big. Deep inside of me, I know, but thank God I have a session with my teacher. I think she'll confirm it, but I don't know. But what happened was, sorry, I'm getting a little dizzy. You were speaking about the eye. Let's see, where do I want to go with this? I had this shift. They talk about that there are 4 layers of consciousness: the waking, dreaming, deep sleep, and Turiya, the 4th state of consciousness. And what happened last week was I broke free of the 3rd level of consciousness and entered into, created a path, whatever, to the place of no mind. And it's beyond, I now rest in no mind. And I'm pointing up here because this is where, look, prior to that, Kundalini, and I'm speaking at a deep spiritual consciousness Kundalini rising process. But I say this for anybody out there who have listened to this whole thing and might benefit from this. Prior to last week, I could see my vision. Kundalini was up here resting, and I was seeing life from this perspective. What happened last week was there was a, and I feel like I have no head, and that she is, or I am, seeing from up here. So this potentially means that I have crossed Bindu, and the place of no mind. Yeah, absolutely. There's a peace. There's, I can't even describe it. And yet at the same time, so you're here and I can witness all 3 other states at the same time. Doesn't happen all the time. I'm not stable in it, but I know I've crossed that path. But at the same time, the mind cannot figure it out. And I've been actually depressed. Like, I don't know, is this it? And why I'm saying this is because at this level of perspective and understanding and awakening, you deeply understand how impersonal God is. There is no God, and there's actually no love from God. And I know this sounds really weird. The love that you feel from God comes at a lower level of consciousness and awareness. When you are up here in no mind, there's nothing. And I realized how it just struck me how impersonal God's love is. And that led me to, I have this eating problem. Okay, we get it. And underneath that eating problem, and I knew it was all about not feeling God's love. I don't have God's love. And I felt that since from childhood, that I was so bad that God couldn't love me. And it was all in here, all in here. Every time I eat, I get my neck, headaches, just like you. It's all in there. And the program was, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough for God. But I realized this week after this, that my seed phrase was, I'm not God enough. I'm not God enough. And then I realized, and then I could see this whole image, this whole jacket that I've been wearing my entire life. God doesn't love me because I'm not godly enough. And I've been beating myself up for my animal nature, everything that even though I say no to guilt and shame, there are things that are so subtle. Oh, I ate too much. I ate the wrong thing. I hate this body. I feel awful. I hate this body. But you're not actually thinking it, you're feeling it. And I realized, oh, the helpers can't help me because I'm not even saying no to that guilt and shame, and I hate this body, and what's wrong with me? I keep eating and blah. Anyway, I saw this image that I'm carrying around, that I'm this, God doesn't love me, I don't feel God's love, but feeling how impersonal there's not, this love is, it like broke that image. I saw it. I'm letting that go. I'm letting go. God doesn't love me, because that's no such thing. And the other thing, I know I'm not making a whole lot of sense, and I know
You
you
definitely are to me.
Okay.
I know you must be to others.
I know. And what else dropped away, which is kind of freaking me out, it's freaking the ego mind out, because the ego cannot reach no mind. So it has no concept of what's going on. So you're like depressed, something's wrong, this didn't happen. What also happened was, before I was able, in like this third state, let's say Shiva consciousness, I don't even know what, in just pure awareness, pure something, I could feel the one eye. I could rest in this beautiful one eye, the big eye, the self. And ever since, and when I initially went up here, I could feel this point as a seed. It was the seed of everything, from which everything emanated. But when you're here, there's nothing, but there was still something. And I could feel that eye. But the next day, I don't know what happened. It's gone. I can no longer find the eye. I don't know what's happened. I don't know if my mind is making up some story
to keep you from it.
Huh?
To keep you from it.
No. I think there's been some level of absorption where even the concept of the one eye is gone.
It's like that solid wholeness, right? Of like, it's just me.
No, there's not even a me. I mean, there's
well, you know, I don't know, like it's just this consciousness, like that's not attached to things. I don't know how to explain it, but I feel
it's anyway. So that's
really cool how
yes.
you remember it and describe it. And as you were talking about it in the beginning, I remembered yesterday with my nurturing message, before I got the nurturing message, I got that there was like a need for me to disconnect from Christian programming and ideals, which I feel that I've done so much already. But I think it was this, you know, trying to please God, trying to earn God's love on a very subtle level, because I've been aware of it and feel through it.
So subtle,
but I think that was the seed thought underneath why I went against my obligation, because it is that feeling of like, I don't know, worthiness or whatever, or like, I don't know, there's something there.
So I'm wondering if collectively there's some God issues coming up.
Oh, there definitely have been for months.
Well, of course. I mean, okay, well, that was a stupid thing to say, but do you know what I mean?
You know, yeah, and you know, it's funny, in my course, we've been talking about those themes, right? It's like God is not what we thought it was. Let that energy come in and show you the truth that there's nothing to fear here, that you were always accepted, you were always worthy, you were always a part of the one, except for the beliefs and the programming that clenched you from feeling that. And then on top of that, I've been teaching about the animalistic nature. You know, we're healing through that sacral, and it's like, we're literal animals that are domesticated, like we domesticate dogs. If you've ever watched children, they're crazy. They do things that you're like, what are you doing? My kids have licked freaking windows in stores. And I'm like, what are you doing? You know, when they're younger. But we want to sense, and we make that sensuality mean like evil things, fleshly pursuits, and that's bad. And that's just not the truth. We want to experience things and feel things, and that's fine. That's part of our nature.
Yeah.
Anyway, I loved that whole thing. Like, I think that's amazing. I'm excited to hear where that goes for you. I actually practice. I don't know that I know that I haven't ascended all the way through, because I haven't had like an experience like that. But I practice a technique called Not Mind that I teach in my course. Have I told you about that?
No, but I mean,
I wonder if it would help you reconnect again, or if you even need to. You probably don't, but if you're interested, I can send you the little.
No, this is no, I don't need to reconnect.
You don't need to practice.
I'm not unconnected. I'm
it probably isn't for you, but I think like in general, it helps people tame the mind and create the space.
You're speaking at a lower mind level, and I'm talking about the higher.
I agree. I mean, for the people who would be watching this that might need to start practicing not being in their mind so that they can reach higher levels. You know what I mean? Because it helped me very much on my path.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's enough.
I feel good.
Anything else?
No, that was pretty much the week.
Yeah. Okay.
Just learning our own beingness, accepting our own beingness, surrendering, trusting, knowing that you always have a choice. Always.
And this is the big choice point, and prophetic times.
But I think there's a lot of little choices too that add up to the bigger choices. And so to just remember that whenever you're feeling choice out of obligation, that's not the right path. It's like, you get to choose. You also get to choose your beliefs. You don't have to clean your house if you don't feel
choose you first.
Right? Exactly.
I think that's the message. Choose you first.
And everything will unfold perfectly because you're not in resistance to the path.
Okay. Another 2 weeks, we'll see, or maybe 3 weeks, we'll see. Okay, thank you.
Okay, I love you so much. Thank you.
Okay, bye. Oh wait,
Bye.
stop.